takes more than guts to be a gangster. It takes good ideas. And I hope these ideas help you. Hey, what is going on, guys? This is your mob boss, GangsterKT. And today I'm getting back to a strategy video, and one that I think is really important right now, at least for where I am in the game. This might not be for everyone. You may be doing this already, and I'm late to the party. So wish you would have invited me earlier. But I'll explain why for me this is the right time right now. Additionally, this might not be right for you if you aren't fully in the end game with a fairly decent account with the characters you want big. This probably isn't right for you, and you should focus on getting those tunes to where you want them. But with that said, I'm going to talk about this pretty big change I'm making with how I'm spending resources and how I think that'll help me. I'm also going to cover then my dark promotion credit plans and how I plan to spend or not spend those here over the next couple months. First off, I wanted to talk about a little history. You can see there the teams that have come out over the past year. And I'll say, starting about a year ago was the Death Seed team. And with that raid team, they came out, then Invaders came out, Masters of Evil then came out, and then the Invaders team, or I'm sorry, it was Death Seed, Rebirth, Master of Evil, and then the Invaders team. So out of those 4 teams right there, 3 of them were raid teams. And as you guys know, like, I don't build the raid teams huge. I build them as big as I need to, and then I stop. So for a while there, it really felt like I haven't had to fully invest in my teams, and I was able to save up gold and gold orbs quite a bit for where I really wanted to spend them. But then here more recently, and it's been a few months, no question, but we had the new Warriors, we had the Nowhere team, the Infestation team. We did have Bifrost, another raid team. But then we had the revised A-Force. We had the Secret Defenders Arena team that's amazing, and then the new Avengers. So out of those 7 last teams, only 1's been a raid team, and 6 have been PvP teams. So for my strategy, for how I try and play, that's a huge difference, and these teams have required a lot more investment. And I'll say especially Secret Defenders and then new Avengers needed for the next trial. I've maxed Secret Defenders from a gold standpoint, and new Avengers are close to that. So things are starting to feel really tight. But again, with that said, we know what the next team is, and we need raid teams as big as needed. My Invaders that are close to 1 million are autoing the raid difficulty I'm doing just fine right now, which is 1.3. And I think could do the same in 1.4 and definitely manually do it in 1.5. So how are we going to change our strategy based on understanding this history and what's about to happen? So the answer to that is we are going to save resources with the Pegasus team coming out. So thankfully, we all probably have a huge Kestrel from the Apocalypse event and just from Kestrel being crazy big. If you don't, I would go build Kestrel right now. So with that huge Kestrel, I'm going to try just taking the rest of my Pegasus team to level 75 and T14. With the T4s I need into them, I'll take them to probably Blue ISO 4 because those are more abundant resources for me. But the gold, what it takes in the gear. So mainly it's because of that level 75, but I'm going to try it, and I'm going to manually play these nodes at those levels. I doubt it'll auto it, but I'm hoping that'll be enough, and if it is, I'm going to stop, which might not be as fun as building them huge, there's no question, and it looks like a cool team, but I'm only going to put the minimum resources I need in, and I'm actually really excited. There's a new team out right now where I can do that with how I play. So at the same time, I'm just watching video after video right now of Skrull and Crucible matches. I've unfortunately been facing them now a couple weeks in a row where I hadn't before that. And just really showing me that, like, I probably am a little late to the party, realizing how important Skrull is for PvP modes. So I've been going semi-hard on DD6, but I'm getting jealous. I want Skrull on my team. I want him in the mob. And so because of this timing with the Pegasus team and feeling like I can lay off there, I am shifting my strategy to try and go as big as I can without spending money on it to getting Skrull as fast as I can. So specifically what I'm going to do differently, it's shown there on this page, and it's 2 things. Most importantly, and I wanted to give a shout out to Ambassador Al. I'd heard of this before, but he's really the one I heard explain it and break it down to where I thought, hey, maybe I should consider this. And I do think it's the right thing for me right now. If you haven't seen Ambassador Al, go be a diplomat. Go check him out. He is incredibly smart, and he really talks about this game in a cool way. So I wanted to say that. But again, I'm going to start doing the 50 core refreshes on the supply store every reset. So that's 3 times a day. So in total, that's 300 cores, 103 times a day. And I'm going to buy all the T18 I see in that store. And then some of the uniques I need, like the osmium, and some of the other key ones, I am going to buy those as well. So that's a huge change for me. I've never done that before. From doing it a few days, I think the power cores won't feel that bad. It will hurt me on the milestone events that require core spending. I know I won't have as many, and those are important. But I think this is more important at the 50 core level, not at the 100 core level for me. But I think this store is probably about half of my supply of T18s. So this is tripling that income. I do think worse than the power cores is actually going to be the gold. I've noticed my gold dropping pretty quickly since this happened. I did take the new Iron Man to level 75, so that's part of it. But it's mainly been from this change. And even just doing it a couple days, I'm noticing it in my gold. So not sure how long I'll be able to do this. When the new big PvP team comes out, I'll probably stop so I can focus more and take them up to higher levels. But while Pegasus is out this patch, before Zombie Juggernaut comes out, I'm going to take advantage of saving that gold, and I'm going to spend it on these T18s in the supply store. The one other place I'm looking at is the milestone events. I feel like milestone events are probably the most important game mode in the game right now, even though they don't involve combat. But those rewards towards the end are just amazing. So again, without spending money, I'll never be able to max them out. But, maybe on ones involving campaign energy, I'll start doing the 100 core refreshes, especially if there's ranked rewards, just to, maybe get that next ranking up from the guys that were just doing the 50 core refreshes. But that's another place I'm going to try and find a way to maybe leverage my cores and some of the gold I'm saving to try and get more T18s. And those are my two strategy changes. Again, for where I am, I think this is pretty important. I'm excited to do it. I think part of it too is just how valuable the T18s are. So, it's not just getting scroll faster, it's getting your secret defenders if you're taking them into city, and taking photon to cosmic. It's getting them to T18 faster. That is very valuable. So this is a lot more than just scroll, but it's mainly about scroll. So first off, I wanted to talk about my strategy. For me, my Red Star plans are a function of how much I'm using that character and the importance of those game modes to me, and then a function of how much the extra power specifically helps that character with their abilities. So a lot of controllers, a lot of kit-based characters, Red Stars aren't as important because, it's maybe not going to change if they land a debuff or clear something on your team because they get extra focus. So it's really more for the damaging characters. There's a lot of nuance to that, obviously, but it is about how much that character benefits from the Red Stars in addition to how much you're using them. So this is kind of hard to say, and people may not agree with this, but for me right now, I do not think Nova and Black Cat are worth taking more than 5 Red Star if you're tight on Dark Promotion credits like I am. So if you have plenty of them, of course, they are two meta characters right now. They are both amazing, and if you have the DPC, take them as high as you can. But I'm going to have other priorities, and it's because, again, they're great characters, but the matches I'm using them in right now, and this may be short-sighted and change down the road, but I just don't see getting a lot of extra value out of that 6 Red Stars. So, like for instance, in Arena with Black Cat, I maybe should be using Big Time to start with a Disrupted on Miss Marvel, but I have not been. I haven't built my Big Time yet. And so Black Cat is just, stunning Miss Marvel every arena match, which is valuable. It allows me to maybe take Miss Marvel down then with my Quicksilver later. But at the end of the day, she's going to do the same there, whether she's 5 Red Star or 6 Red Star. I actually think Robbie might be more important to take big Red Stars on that team out of the two of them, and obviously easier with that being gold promo credits. So for me, even though Black Cat is unbelievable, don't get me wrong, and Red Stars help with her bleeds, she has great damage and the Red Stars will help there. She's just not my priority right now for where I'm going to put them. And for me with current characters, that priority is Quicksilver. I do think I noticed a change taking him to 6 Red Star. And if I had, DPC lottery and just had quite a few of these right now, my next buy would be taking him to 7 Red Star. I think they are super valuable for him. I think he's still one of the very best characters in the game, and that's where I would put my Red Stars right now. However, that is not what I'm doing. So what I'm doing right now is saving. Again, I have 6 Red Star on Quicksilver. I have about 2,000 of these things in my account right now. And I'm going to save for Apocalypse and Zombie Juggernaut because I think that those two are going to be like immediately shot to the top of this list when they come out, and very, very important to have as big as you can for their damage, for the way that they just interact with the teams you use them with. I think that's really going to be the best investment. So additionally, Zombie Juggernaut, I'm planning on having to build and buy every single red star, which is different than we're used to. So, if his one red star is 500, and then I don't know these numbers, but if two's 700 and three's 900, that adds up. And that's quite a bit to get him to 4 red star, or however high we'll be able to take him at first. So, again, I'm going to save. I would say don't stress this a ton. 6 red stars, only a 6 to 7% stat increase. It takes you from 50 to 60%, but that's not the same as a 10% increase. It's actually 6 to 7%. For what it's worth, a 7 red star increase is about 10%, exactly, almost, stat increase. So again, this is nowhere close to as important of the value as T18. It's nowhere as close to important as T17.5. But any incremental increase, any incremental advantage we can get over our opponents is always good. So we know we want to spend these, but if I were you and didn't have a ton, I would be saving right now. I think the next 2 characters to come for this are going to be much more important than the ones here right now. I do want to say, though, since I made this list and started planning this, I saw a video Pathfinder had on Dark Promotion credit priorities, and go watch his video, guys. It's a much more in-depth breakdown than what I'm offering here. I still hope my advice is helpful, and it's what I'm going to do. But these DPCs are so rare and so important. I really think it's looking at a few different perspectives. Pathfinder does not agree with me on Black Cat, from what I can tell, and Pathfinder is very good at this game. So I'm going to look at this again, although, again, I stand by this advice. I do think it's right. But go see if his advice is better for where you are in your account and how you're using these characters. I do think it's important enough to compare the two. I really hope that this video helped you today. Again, I think a pretty important change for me, something I've never done before, but with these current priorities, the scroll of T18, and just the ease of maybe lighter resource utilization on Pegasus team, this is how I'm going to change. I'm excited to get scroll faster. So I really hope that this advice was helpful to you today. As always, I give you my word that this is the best advice I have. All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Peace. I really